Welcome to the Time Management Podcast with me, your host, Abigail Barnes. I'm a productivity coach, global speaker, time management author, and award-winning entrepreneur on a mission to share the 888 formula with the world and to remind you that it's your time. Leave it to me to bring you new time management tips, tricks, tools, and strategies, to introduce you to guests, research, and case studies from around the world, and to give you a simple 5-step process you can follow to uplevel your productivity, achieve your goals, and create a life that exceeds your wildest dreams. I'm so excited that you're here, so let's get started. Welcome to the show. It's you and me for a conversation that has been many episodes in the making. How to stop procrastinating and start living. I am so excited that we get to have this conversation today. And it goes without saying that the fact that you are here listening to the podcast, tuning in every single week, catching up when you can. I appreciate you as a listener, and I also appreciate there are many other things you could be doing in your life right now. I love that we get to spend this time together. Because what if the life you are supposed to be living is waiting for you to claim it, like a prize that you have already won? And what if procrastinating has actually become an addiction? And today is the day that you decide once and for all, I am ready to break this addiction. This week on the Time Management Podcast, we're talking about how good your life gets to be now that you know that your success is waiting for you. And it is time to welcome your new beginning, because it's your time, my friend, to stop procrastinating and to reset your success story in 2025. This episode is for you if you're ready to stop procrastinating. It's also for you if you're ready to let your life get easier. And it's definitely for you if you're ready to claim your success and start living the life that you have always dreamed of. I'm so excited, as I said, that we get to have this conversation. This is something that I have been talking about to my clients, communities, and audiences since 2016. I feel that it's something that has been an experience in my own life that I have had to learn how to overcome and to recognize when I am falling into the tendency to procrastinate, because we are always one decision away from a new life, from a new change, from a new chapter, from a new beginning. When you're living in the dark, there are two choices. Choice number one, find the window. And choice number two, become the light. I get it. It's easier said than done, but believe me, it is possible. And here's the good news. You're not meant to do it on your own anymore. Whatever you have been going through up until now, it is time to find other humans who are also ready for their new step, their next chapter, and to do it before, because your environment shapes your perspective. When you can't see, just move. Psychologically, scientifically, the advice is to get as high as you can, whether that be find a building, get in the elevator, go to the top floor, find a mountain, find some piece of land where you can get as high as you can. When you physically change your perspective, it starts a chemical reaction within your body that enables you, me, we, us, to see things from a totally different perspective. The environments that we are living in all day, every day, are creating the habit loops that we are experiencing, the results, the life that we are getting. If you're happy with it, fantastic, keep doing it. If you're not, change. which is why I am actually a huge fan of hybrid working. Not what we're talking about today, but I would just like to add my thoughts to a conversation in the wider world. Wherever you can or have the opportunity to work with others in person, do it. Now, whether you are a fully remote worker or not, that's absolutely fine. But when the opportunity comes up for you to spend time with others, be it your team, be it a training, be it a coffee with people, be it a networking, whatever it is, spending time with others changes the chemistry in your body, which changes the neurons firing together and wiring together in your brain. You will automatically begin to see things differently. You'll also find answers to the questions that you have been mulling on for a very, very long time. Our environments are so powerful. So think about that next time you are deciding where you're working from and who you are spending that time working around. Because finding others who can remind you how good things get to be, who are living the lifestyle that you want, who make you feel that little bit jealous, this is an indication of actually what you want. It's also an indication of what you are ready for now. And what is standing in between you and what you want is the current habits and the lifestyle that you have. I've told this story before, but it is so worth repeating. And it's not my story. It's called The Autobiography, and it is a poem by Portia Nelson, and it goes like this. Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There's a hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I'm lost. I'm helpless. It's not my fault. It takes me forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it, but I fall in again. I can't believe that I'm in the same place. It's all my fault. It still takes a long time for me to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in that sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in because it's a habit. But my eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault, and I get out of it immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There's a hole in the sidewalk, and I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down a different street. Let that sink in. I walk down a different street. In order to move forward, it is about acknowledging the reality that we are currently in, but not attaching to it. Because it is time to walk down a different street. Over the last few episodes, starting with episode number 2, the procrastination perfection loop, we have been unpicking procrastination. Where does it come from? How is it limiting us? And today is the day that we are ready to let it go, to walk down a new street, to tell a new story. Because the procrastination perfection loop keeps you trapped in this habit. However, once you notice that you are in it, then you can set yourself free. Episode 37, we talked about, is procrastination a trauma response? Yes, it is. But if you're ready to let it go, you can let it go. And then episode 66, we talked about how to quit procrastinating in 2025. It is an addiction. It is a habit. It is a story. You, me, we, us, we're used to it. But in order to stop telling this story, we need to replace it with a new story. At the top of this episode, I said we've been building to this. Episode 64, Reset Your Success Story Part 1. Episode 67, Resetting Your Success Story in 2025. That was Part 2. Part 1 was where we look back at 2024. Part 2 was where we started to look forward. What are the goals that we would like to achieve? And in and around that, we had a webinar training, How to Reset Your Success Story in 2025, where we talked about the 10 limiting beliefs that may be stopping you from having the success that you want, stories that you're still telling yourself, the neuroscience and the quantum physics around what is blocking you from having success, as well as the fact that it is possible to have the success. Because when we looked at the neuroscience, we talked all about the neuroplasticity of the brain and the fact that the brain can be rewired at any age or stage in our life. So every conversation we have been having here on the podcast, every guest we have been inviting on the podcast, it's all been to help you to identify the blockers, the stoppers, the stories, the limitations within yourself, to hear the possibility, the potentiality, and the proof from others, so that today can be the day where you draw the line in the sand. Enough, new story, new chapter, if you want a new book. In episode 65 of the podcast, we had on our human design expert for part 2. Human design is all about understanding the blueprint that is influencing your own life. Every single person is unique. Human design is an incredible modality, but it's just a tool. The biggest thing that I take away from human design is that we all see things, we all hear things, we all feel things, we all smell things, we all taste things. Life is different for all of us because we are filtering it through our own blueprint. And if you are interested, definitely check out that episode and check out part 1, episode 24, where our guest expert offered you the opportunity to get a free human design test and find out what your design is. I absolutely love this modality and have found it to be so beneficial since understanding, because we all are on different life paths. Some of them look easier, some of them look harder. But when you get there, there is no good or bad. It's simply about what you learn from every single step and how to keep going, what each step teaches you and who you become. The person you need to forgive is yourself. The standards you need to let go of are yours, and they are being kept alive in your head, no matter who told you, no matter whether they felt like it was right or it's wrong. You are the one who's keeping it alive. I've talked about this before, where your attention goes, your energy flows. And according to the law of the conservation of energy, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transmuted from one form to another, which means your success is waiting for you. Your success is there for you. It is up to you to claim it, but you need to get on the lifeboat that is here right now, ready for you to get on. You need to leave the ship that you're currently on, let it sink, take the upgrade. The question is, will you fight for the ship that you know that's sinking? Or will you accept the upgrade, the lifeboat, and continue on? Are you ready for things to be easier? Are you ready for things to be better? Are you ready for things to be fun, for life to be expansive? Can you clean the windows, or are you going to remain in the dark? And there is zero judgment from me, whatever you decide. If this episode is triggering you, good. Look at what is triggered within you. Write it down. Ask yourself the question, is this the highest truth? Am I ready? If I was ready, what would life look like? If I wasn't ready, what would I need to overcome right now? The quality of your questions will dictate the quality of your life. And the other thing to remember is you can't save somebody else. You can only save yourself. And in life, we are so programmed that we need to help others. They need to come with us. We need to show them what to do. We need to tell them what to do. We need to bring them with us. If they won't come, we need to carry them. The reality is you can only teach by modeling. You can only help others in your life by showing them what is possible by walking out the possibility yourself. It's only when we feel like we might lose something or someone that we activate that energy that we need to move forward. And those neurons in our brain fire, wire, and activate. They activate the fight or flight, which is the sympathetic nervous system. They activate our desire to move. And we move because we don't want to actually be left behind. And some people don't move. And that is their choice. But if you have got the activation to move, then move. And believe me, if they really feel like you're going, they will follow you. Because that's one of the questions and things that comes up in all of this is, what if I leave people behind? We can't leave people behind because we're not responsible for the people. We are responsible for being the proof. We are responsible for living our own life. We are responsible for filling our own cup. Coaching, which is one of the things that I spend a lot of time doing, is the ability to show somebody their own skills and to invite them to take a step, not to take the step for them. A fitness coach cannot do the push-ups for you. A meditation coach cannot silence your brain for you. You have to do these things for yourself. And I get asked this question a lot. Abigail, do you think that you need to have some kind of shock or incident to make you change? And the answer is, unfortunately, unless we have something to wake us up, we are going to stay where we are because it's safer, because it's known, because it's the comfort zone. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you need to have a shock incident to wake you up, but it does mean to say that there needs to be something, an impetus. And maybe this podcast is the thing for you that wakes you up. Maybe it's something that happened to your friend. Maybe it's something that's happened in the world. Whatever it is, hear that message and take the action. Because what I found in my life was I heard the message several times before the stroke. I just ignored it. I just thought, oh, well, I didn't love life where I was, but it was more comfortable than the uncertainty of not knowing. However, life has changed now. Things have moved on. We have more access and more information and more proof that when people take a risk, let's call it, that it's not as risky as we may have been led to believe. And people are able to take that risk, take that chance, take that leap of faith, and things work out. Because as I've said many, many times before, no amount of knowledge or learning from others' shortcuts can help change the life of somebody who's not ready to change. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge plus action is power. If you are one of these people who has done all the courses, got all the certificates, knows all the things, but hasn't taken an action, you are just potential sat there waiting, because the knowledge isn't the power. It's only half of the equation. So we mentioned human design before, and I think today it's relevant to look at the authorities. There are 7. These are how we naturally make decisions. When you start to trust your guidance, you'll find yourself living in alignment with your true nature. When you are living the life based on how you've been raised or what other people have said is the best way to do it, you are going to be in opposition with yourself. So we've got the emotional authority. They need to wait until the emotions are balanced before making a decision. We've got the sacral authority. They are somebody who can respond in the moment because they have a gut feeling. Then we've got the splenic authority. They are somebody who can act immediately on their intuition. We've got the ego authority. They make choices that align with their personal will and their desires. We have the self-projected authority. They like to discuss the options out loud to get an insight before they make a decision. We have the environmental authority. They like to seek the support of the environment, have people and things around them as a sounding board before they make their decisions. And then we've got the lunar authority. They need to wait a complete lunar cycle before finalizing their decision. If you have been listening to this podcast episode today and you are ready to take an action, and 2025 is the year where everything is going to change, then you will want to check out Reset Your Success Story 2025. I've been talking about it over the last few episodes, and it has really evolved in my head. I annoyingly have this skill and ability to see things, visualize things, but I don't always get all of the pieces in one go. Well, today, the day I'm recording this episode, all of the pieces finally fell into place. And this is how we are going to do it. So reset is a 2-part process. It is our 5-step method. Part number 1 is RES. Part number 2 is ET. Part number 1 is where am I today? Review. What do I want it to be like? Evaluate. And what is my strategy? How do I get there? That's part number 1. Then we have part number 2, E and the T. E is execute. This is taking action. And then T is tracking our progress. How this looks as a program, there are 3 different ways that you can get involved. The first way is option 1, a 90-minute masterclass. This will be on the 20th of February. This is where we will talk about RES, review, evaluate, and strategy. This is where we will look at what goals it is that you want to achieve and how you can achieve them in order to reset your success story in 2025. That's part 1, and that may be enough for you. Part 2 is then the 25-day group sprint that starts on the 3rd of March. This is where we combine the RES with the ET, and we have reset, where you take action on those 2 goals that you want to achieve in those 25 days, where you use the energy of a group and the environment of people who are all on the same mission to create the life that they want to be living, who are fed up no more. And then option number 3, we've included this because whenever I've run trainings, people have always asked for it. So here it is. This is Reset Your Success Story 30-day VIP experience. You get option 1 and option 2, aka the training, plus 2 one-to-one calls with me. So 1 after the masterclass before the sprint, 1 after the sprint, and email support the whole way through. Option 1 is the masterclass. Option 2 is the masterclass and the sprint. And then option 3 is the VIP experience. All of the links are in the show notes, and any questions that you have, I am here, we are here to answer them for you. If you are ready to rewire your brain for success, click the link in the show notes and sign up now. And for the next 7 days, because I love to reward loyalty, for the next 7 days, we have a special discount code for podcast listeners. Whichever option you choose, you will be able to use the code podcast20 and get 20% off whichever program option you choose with the code podcast20. This is only being shared with podcast listeners because, as I said, loyalty really matters to me. This program is building on content that we've been teaching to groups from around the world since 2020. It's also building on content that I had been delivering to audiences since 2016. Maybe you came to one of my events in 2016. We had the Procrastinator Breakthrough Club for a while. We had to stop that club because it turned into the Procrastination Club, not the Breakthrough Club. As I said, always I am getting ideas for the trainings and it is evolving constantly. So if you ever invest in any training with me, know that you will always be getting the latest, the leading edge. If you are not ready for the program that I have mentioned, then definitely check out Magic Time, which is our self-study program where you will be able to reimagine your time. And I teach you how to reset your productivity with a 10-day experience. This may be the first step for you. And loyalty. Use the code podcast33 and you will be able to get a 33% discount off that training and start it today. My friend, so many things. I cannot wait to see where this goes. I cannot wait to do the program with you, whether that be the masterclass, the sprint, or the VIP experience, or if you are going to grab that Magic Time training on demand. Any questions that you have, in the show notes is a link where you can fill in an inquiry form if you would like to find out about other trainings or work with me, or if you would like to book me to speak at one of your events. We have got International Women's Day coming up and there's a couple of spaces left for me to speak at events there also. Any questions you ever have, reach out to inquiries at successbydesigntraining.com. And until next time, remember, stay safe, stay well, and it is your time. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you loved what you heard, be sure to let me know by leaving a review so I can keep the good stuff coming. Come and say hi on Instagram at Success by Design Training, or visit my website successbydesigntraining.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search Abigail Barnes. Until next time, don't forget, you are amazing and it's your time.